G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here, with a poem in the Warbles in the Wilderness series. This one's called Cultural Relics in the Valley of the Man, and there's a cultural warning attached to it. Years ago I was invited to a discussion group regarding the flying of the Aboriginal flag on the local town hall. One of the local businessmen wanted to discuss the issue, and he'd convened the meeting, and he'd brought along a Celtic Aboriginal archaeologist from Uralla. And there was some discussion about what could be done to promote the Aboriginality of the local district. And I said to the businessman, well look, you've already done something to promote it, because he paid 1/3 of the printer's bill of my book of poetry. And I said, in the poetry I've managed to capture what I see as the essence of a local, more or less sacred site, and the photos are in the book, and the photos were approved by the elders of the local land council. And I stress that because of the piecework nature of country and what goes on, the people who are in the land council in Glen Innes mostly come from north and west of here. Ngurrabal, Gomeroi, Kamilaroi. So when I showed them a site out to the east, they didn't have any problem with it. This Scottish Celtic Aboriginal archaeologist from Uralla took one look at the photos and said, oh, look, you know, this is a terribly sacred male site, and any female initiated woman culturally practising from up north in Australia could probably be put to death just for looking at those photos in your book. So, you know, yet one other reason why my book of poetry didn't take off, because it's got some stuff that I got it approved by the people who are in the position to approve it, but they come from somewhere else, so they didn't recognise what they were approving was something that should not have been approved. So, with a cultural warning that any Aboriginal woman who seriously is practising her culture should probably not look at this, let's go and have a look at a poem called Cultural Relics in the Valley of the Man. This will be number 23 in the Warbles in the Wilderness series, and it is in the book Bush Poems. There was a time when I was living in a rented farmhouse at Skeleton Creek. And on my way into town, I would pass the stones. I didn't have much of an idea what they signified, but they were pretty spectacular to look at, and they seemed to have arrangements of other stones around them. They're granite stones. And I knew that once upon a time every rock and tree and fold in the ground had a story to it, and I figured these were probably significant to the people who lived here pre-1788. There are public roads all around them, so from a distance with a telephoto lens I was able to get some good shots, and as you can see they look straight down the Man River Valley, and the outlying formations are on both sides. So I composed what I thought a suitable style of verse, and strangely it works best if it's sung with no instrumental accompaniment. Cultural Relics in the Valley of the Man. Sacred stones stand there alone, ancient stones 8 miles from town. Sacred stones under wattle tree, ancient stones there for all to see. Sacred stones, your people gone, ancient stones ancestral home. Sacred stones, wonder what they mean. Ancient stones, can't a white man dream. Sacred stones on a cleared bare hill. Ancient stones, cattle shit there still. Sacred stones like a landscape brand. Ancient stones, black people's land. Sacred stones not made by man. Ancient stones must be Creator's plan. Sacred stones, a lot to understand. Ancient stones, the history of this land. Cultural relics in the valley of the man. Where if you show up on the right day, you can even get the full moon rising. Written on the 5th of April 1995. It's on page 19 of Bush Poems by Chris Wharton. ISBN number 064630674X. It was after publishing the book Bush Poems, which has got several massacre stories in there that had just sort of come to me, that I started travelling, busking at markets, and the nature of the stuff I was performing caused people to draw other stuff to my attention. That's how I got a copy of Baal Belbora, which I reviewed in the 7th part of the 6-part series of the book review of the biggest estate on earth. And well, not to put too fine a point on it, several people came to me with requests for me to write poems about local massacres. So, to be honest, the next few poems in the Warbles in the Wilderness series have got a pretty hard, sharp, dark edge. They're part of what you'd have to call the black armband view of history, because, you know, like anybody who's still wearing a reconciliation badge dating from when Paul Keating made the Redfern speech. Yeah, I'm a bit of a strong, serious opponent of what they call the white blindfold view of Australian history, and sad to say, it's the white blindfold view that took over back in the 90s. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Just remember, people who walk barefoot don't tread in dog shit, because they watch where they're going and they pay attention to what they're about to step in. Ciao.